Welcome back to another amazing, scintillating, hilarious, relatable episode of The Shift Show. I'm Kayla, your host, who is off this weekend, the 17th and the 18th, that is. And I'm very excited about that because although I'm off every other weekend, it feels like my last weekend off was 2 months ago. This week murdered me, put me through the floor, beat my ass, had nunchucks, all of that. So sit back, grab your drinks, like I did, a good, nice, ice cold beer. I'm just kidding. This is a Cutwater lemon drop martini. I'm actually going to do a quick taste test, and part of me feels like it's going to be so nasty. Okay. Oh. That's pretty good. Well, it's not good. It's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. However, we all know, well, if you don't know this, Cutwaters will sneak up on you, so I can't, drink that too fast. But I will be drinking on it because I love a little buzz. Y'all know the TikTok sound. I'm not drunk. I'm buzzed. Buzzball. That'd be me. I love a little buzz. Anyways, we're going to have a great show, a great episode, and I hope we're all ready for it. You guys know the phrase, don't shit where you lay? And if that's not an actual, expression, sue me. Free me from that. But I swear I've heard it before. But, just because I've heard it does not mean it's a common, expression. But don't shit where you lay is how I feel about dating at the workplace, in the workplace. You cannot... You should not be doing that. And here's the thing. I know one couple who was lasted and they met at work. And they're basically the anomaly. But would I recommend? No. I also wouldn't recommend dating someone, them not having a job, and you recommending them to your workplace, because that's going to end badly for you too. Right. How do I know? Because I did that. Yes, I did that. And you would do it too for a check. I was an employee. I did that. And never, ever will I ever recommend that stupid shit again. I cannot believe I did that. I can't even call, work my safe place, because, boy, was that never the truth. But it certainly wasn't my safe place after we were no longer together. But, nonetheless, I feel like people be shitting where they lay, girl bossing too close to the sun, all of those expressions at work. And don't get me wrong, I know you're spending 8 hours a day there. You're going to see them. This is like school. You're seeing them more than you're seeing your own family. However, you're going to have to find a way to make something work, because you cannot be dating people you work with. That's not a good idea. I don't even recommend working with your family, but nonetheless, however, if I am not speaking to you if you are working at some small hole-in-the-wall place, customer service place, and you live in some flyover state like goddamn South Dakota. I'm not talking to you. The only people that you gonna be able to fuck on are the people you work with. Hopefully they're not family. Fingers crossed they not your cousins. Quick reference from Sentence, if you heard the way I said cousins. Nah, we cousins. Fingers crossed they're not your cousins. But I understand. But if you live in a very overly populated city like I do, or hell, if you live in a city that has an international airport, there is no reason for you to be fucking on somebody or dating somebody that you work with. Do not do that, besties. Don't do it. It ain't worth it. It is not worth the trouble, the heartache, the issues it causes. It's just not worth it. However, I am not one to object if you fucking on somebody you work with. I fear I'm not that one. Do I know that can get messy? Yes. But we're here for a good time, not a long time. 1. And 2. So, no, I'm just kidding. Not so, I promise. However, I don't know. I just feel like dating is a little too, that's a little too much. But, y'all just having sex, do you. again, the lines are going to be crossed. They are. Because they've seen you naked. Like, the lines are going to be crossed. However, I want to say they've only seen you naked. However, that is a big thing. But they've only seen you naked. They don't know, like, your trauma, like somebody you're dating would. They can't use your trauma against you unless you have no discernment. Then we have another issue on our hands. Anyways. I don't know. I'm not keen. I feel like that's a great word to use. I'm not keen on the whole dating somebody you're working with. Like, I just feel like it's especially in Los Angeles. And don't get me wrong, I know that men, if you're a woman or a gay man, I know that men in Los Angeles suck. I really do. However, like, there's counties in California you could date. Like, long distance exists. Y'all, we gotta do something a little better than somebody that we work with. I was gonna say the lines are gonna be too blurred, but, like, again, I'm pro having sex with people you work with, just because I'm like, okay, we all know the phrase, like, work crush, work boo, whatever, work husband, work wife. Those are only okay terms when you're single. Okay, those are only things that you should be saying when you're single. Like, you don't outside those four walls of that building, you don't have nobody, hoping you come home to them. Cool, you do you. However, that a work nothing is not something that you have when you gotta outside of work somebody. That's not something that you can have. You're simply not allowed. And I know this sounds crazy, but I don't care. Where was I going with that? Oh, I know, like, I keep being like, you gotta be careful. You can't do that. You can't shiver, you lay. But y'all, okay. Speaking from experience, I have worked quite a lot of jobs, actually. I actually think my current job may be job 10. I did not realize I was that bitch until a year or so ago, like 2 years maybe. So I was not ever fucking on anybody that I worked with, but I could have. I had plenty of work crushes, especially at my last store. Bro, there was this one man who, oh, my best friend's gonna get on me so bad for that. Oh my God, he gonna talk shit about me. Anyways, I had broken up with my ex. This is before I was out of the closet, mind you. I had broken up with my ex, and I was like, this man that we work with is cute. I just fuck on him. Mind you, he's shorter than me by like 2-3 inches. And I know that I'm not her. And short men love we the same height when we laying in the bed. We're literally not. My legs are longer than yours still. Like, what are you talking about? However, yeah, I ain't gonna do too much. My sister listens to this. I ain't gonna do too much because now when she on my phone screaming, I'm not gonna be in the mood. But I say all that to say, like, that's fine. You want to do that. You want to have fun. That's what I need to say. You want to have fun. Oh, that's cool. You want to be in love. Oh, you lost me. Somebody at work. I was listening to one podcast a few weeks ago, and they were like, your work husband may be an 8 in that job, in that building, but just know they're going to be a 5 when you walk outside. And that I wholeheartedly believe in. Whoever you seeing for 8 hours, oh yeah, you're going to grow to think that they're fine as fuck. But no, I want to think whoever I'm with, I walk up to them, I saw them for the first time, I'm like, damn, he fine as fuck. She fine as fuck. That's what I want to think. Not, oh, we've worked together for a few years and I think you're cute now. No, you think I'm cute because you ain't getting no action. That sounds kind of mean for me to say. I will admit to that. But I don't know. It's just, your girl bossing too close to the sun is too risky for my liking. I can't do it. So in my case, though, I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this before. I can't remember. I think we're 8 episodes in, and I love that for me. Staying consistent, staying mindful, staying demure. Or as Gorilla says, demure. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this though, but I was dating someone who could not hold a job whatsoever. She hated her job. She just quit without one. And I was like, hey, my job is hiring for the holidays. Because we were. Every retail job hires before the holidays. Hired for the holidays. They decided to keep her on because they really liked her. Cool. She was doing a good job. I can't even lie. She starts slacking in like January. And then all of a sudden, it's like January like 28th. She's like, I'm quitting this job before my birthday. And her birthday was in February. I don't like that. Okay. I was like, where are you going to work? She's like, I don't know, but just know I'm not going to work there. And I was like, well, that's stupid. That's fucking dumb. You don't, like, what are you talking about? Like, before your birthday, you have less than a month to find a job. Like, I don't think that's reasonable. Like, not even, like, to burst her bubble, I swear. I was just like, if we got to be a little bit realistic, what are you talking about? She's like, no, I don't care. Even if I don't have a job, I'm not going to work there. What? You can't. You got a job and you still gonna pay the Wi-Fi bill. What are you talking about? Huh? So thankfully she finds a new job. She gives them a 1-day notice. Great. I told them that you were such a good worker. You give them a 1-day notice. Oh, thank you so much for that. She hates the job she's at. She works there for 6 days. Quits. Finds another job. Works there for like maybe like 2 months. Hates it. Is unemployed. I asked HR for her job back. Like for her to have her job back. HR said yeah. She got her job back. Cool, whatever. We had our highs, we had our lows. Whenever she was in a bad mood though, everybody would ask me like, oh, what's wrong with her? Like, what's going on? Ask her. I'm not going to give her business out like that. If she wants to, that's her business. I'm not doing it though. But yeah, they would ask me, she's crying, not showing up to work, whatever. We break up. And not only did we break up, she broke up with me, might I add, over text. Over text, might I add, while I was on the clock. And you're probably like, she didn't know. She knew I was on the clock. I worked the same schedule every week at that store. I work the same schedule every week at this store. Like, I have the same hours. It varies on the weekends, but, like, I know what my schedule is. Like, I'm gonna know what I'm working before I'm working it. Like, because it's my schedule, yes, but also, like, it doesn't really vary that much. 8 to 4 girly bad. Anyways, we were also on the phone during my lunch break, so she could have just broke up with me then if she wanted to. But no, she broke up with me over text. Maybe like 45 minutes before I had to clock out. So not only was I broken up with over text, not only was I on the clock, I was also 45 minutes away from not being on the clock, and she could have just did it then. Right. But yeah, she like I mentioned, she broke up with me. I called off work the next day. Came back in the following day. It was fine. I was like, whatever. This is life. So be it. I still have to come to work. I still need my bills paid. Whatever the case may be. It was great and awesome. I was out for 2 weeks due to having a tonsillectomy. Came back 2 weeks later, obviously. Everybody's like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? What's going on? She looks so sad. She hasn't been coming to work. She's been doing such a shitty job. They didn't phrase it like that, but like that's essentially what they said. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. You gotta ask her. Like, I didn't like mention like, oh, we're not together anymore, just because like, whatever. I was like, oh, I don't know. And then like, it got to like the 4th or 5th person asking me, and I'm like, okay, we are not together anymore. They're shocked. They're confused. Everybody thinks it's my fault. Everybody thinks I broke up with her. Everybody thinks that I broke her heart because she's the one that's been crying at work. And I'm like, wait, no, she broke up with me over text, y'all. Over text. I was at work. I was clocked in. She broke up with me. And they're all like, what? No way. Oh, fuck you guys. Fuck y'all. So that is partially the reason I'm like, do not date nobody. Because, like, when y'all... Okay, I don't want to be like, when, because that sounds mean. That sounds like I'm a hater now, right? If, on the off chance, if y'all break up, what... I don't mean it like this, but, like, one of y'all's gonna get the blame, obviously, though, but, like, if there's, like, a scandal in your relationship and you're cheating, like, yeah, you deserve that, but... Even if there isn't a scandal, even if you like broke up amicably, like somebody is still going to be the bad guy. Because if that's how people who work retail are. They're just messy. They're gonna assume like, oh, they did something wrong, they did this, they did this. You're gonna ask questions and you're gonna be like, why are you my business? Which is a fair thing to say, but when you're showcasing your business out loud, you can't really say that. This is how I feel about like social media girlies. They're like, oh my god, you guys are in your business, you're not giving me any privacy. You did not want privacy for 2.5 years. All of a sudden something happens and you're like begging for privacy. Babes, you've given us 90 shit. You've given us 100% of your life for the last 2.5 years. One thing happens that we all know about, and you're like, oh, what happened? And you're like, I deserve my privacy. And I'm not saying you don't deserve it. I'm not. I don't mean it like that. But what I am saying is you cannot expect people to not be curious. You cannot expect people to not ask. You cannot expect people to not be in your business because you've allowed people to be in your business for so long. You put me in that shit, okay? You invited me to your business. People are showcasing that like, oh, I'm with so-and-so, oh, I'm with so-and-so, we're da-da-da-da, like, this is my man, my man. There's literally a couple at my store right now who's doing that, and I'm like, bro, like, we get it. I know. And I don't even mean to sound like a hater, I promise I don't. But damn, we know. Y'all are annoying as fuck. Like, I don't like either one of y'all, actually. Especially that damn girl, she be pissing me off. Another story for another day. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we should be going down that route, especially because, like I mentioned, and like the girls on my podcast that I listen to, your work husband may be in that building 10, for instance. They may be a 10. Once you clock out and leave that building, now when they're a 5, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? Wait a minute, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Why do you look like that out here? Yeah. Your vision's blurred. You're on one because they were never that attractive. Whew, I don't know. I feel like I will die on this hill. You cannot date him, but you can fuck him. Like, and I feel so bad, but like, I don't know. Well, I was gonna say it's not as messy. However, when they have the mentality of, oh, I can fuck who I want, which is fair, you can, do you? And they're fucking on people who work at the store too. Or who work at that job too. Oh, the lines are getting blurred. Maybe canoodle with people. I don't know. Personally, as someone, okay, I'm in a loving, healthy, committed relationship right now. But some months ago, I was not. Like I mentioned, I got broken up with. I was doing me. I wouldn't have minded the messiness then. I actually would have ate that shit up. I'm like insane though, so you can't, don't do too much on me because I'm insane, literally. I'm here for a good time or a long time, and if I think something's funny, I'ma laugh. But sucks, I guess. I would have ate that shit up. But if you know that you are a soft heart, you are a lover girl, you hate being in mess, canoodling is not good. Canoodling at any capacity is not good for the people that you work with. And I will die on that hill. And I said what I said. And on that note, we're going to take a break. I'm going to chug some of this cut water because I don't enjoy sipping on it. It's not one of those drinks. I don't know if you guys have tried the espresso martini one, but that one's like okay to sip on. It doesn't taste like an espresso martini for real. But I don't know. Cut waters are not really all that tasty. But they get you where you want to be, and that's all that matters. Like, if I wanted a fruity fun drink to sip on, I would have just made something at home. But a cut water, I think, let me see. Wait. Oh, 11%. This one has 11%. I'm pretty sure me and my best friend have had one that's 14%. Check one of them, a little shooter. Oh, baby, you in it. I'm talking about in it. You're feeling great. But like I said, we're going to take a quick break so I can check some. Okay, we're back, and I feel like I chugged more than half of this cut water, so I know it's gonna hit me while I'm talking. I just feel it. Anyways, I hope everyone agrees with me that dating your coworker is a bad idea. And you know what's an even worse idea? Try to date your manager. Clock it. Or let me rephrase, your manager trying to date you. This is not Grey's Anatomy. This is not that. That's not gonna be okay. I know the company I work for, because we're like department managers, like we're separated by departments, so we're not like, so as a department manager, I have no access to a different department's team members, like for instance, like write-ups, stuff like that. I don't have access to it. So if I have like an incident with a team member who is in a different department than I am, I have to partner with their manager. So you're able, as a manager, you're able to date team members that are outside of your department. However, I would never do that. Morally, ethically, common sensely, I would just not do that. That's just not a good idea. The lines can quickly be blurred, like right away. You're like stopping and talking to your now partner or your now like buddy or your now situationship person. You're stopping to talk to them for 10, 20 minutes. However, your team is in trouble for stopping and talking to each other for 2 minutes. No, that's not okay with me. Just like lines can be crossed. Things can get blurred super fast. So it's just not a good idea. However, you are still required, even though you can date like outside of the department, if you're a manager, you are still required to like disclose that information to HR. I don't know where it goes from there, but not my business because I got a girlfriend and she don't work for the same company that I do. But it's just, again, I think you should have friends at work? Absolutely. I think you're going to meet some of the best people ever where you're working at. You're like coming together, same goal, possibly same mindset, some of the same interests, like especially if you're around the same age. Like I said in plenty of episodes, I met my best friend working for the company and at the store we both used to work at. We met each other there. Yeah, you can make amazing friends. You can also make some terrible ones, but you can make amazing friends. But partner, no, that's not a good idea. No. There's just too many like risks associated with dating anyone that you work with. Like there's conflicts of interest. For instance, my ex was upset that I was like, hey, like, why do you hang out with people who screenshot pictures of me, talk shit about me in a group chat, called me fat, called me ugly, plenty of other names. Like, I was just like, why do you hang out with them? And her only response was, oh, so I'm only allowed to be friends with your friends. And I'm like, no, that's not the case. That's not what I'm saying at all. Mind you, I only had like 4 or 5 friends at that store. The people who didn't like me, there was only like 6 of them. There were like 50 other people who worked there. And I was like, I don't know where you got that piece of information from, but that's not what I said. I'm asking why you need to be friends with that specific 7 people. There were like, in total, I think there were like 65 of us. You couldn't hang out with the 58 that weren't constantly talking shit about me, that weren't taking pictures. Like, it also just like, dude, if they talk about me, they could talk about you. We're literally together. And she's like, it's fine. I'll just sit outside in the cold and in the rain, because it was like cold season in LA. Instead of taking my breaks in the break room. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about right now? That's not what I'm saying. I'm literally asking why you want to hang out and talk with and chit chat, with the people who basically hate me. She never had an answer. Because she's a fake ass, stupid ass bitch. That's why. Anyways, too many conflicts of interest. Her manager also hated me. That lady hated me bad. I don't know if she hated her. We didn't really talk about that lady, but she was too wishy-washy with her. So I'm like, yeah, no. Y'all cannot be dating at work. And then, like, when you're dating, like, a manager, like, I wasn't, thankfully. She was not a manager, and neither was I. But, like, there can be accusations of, like, favoritism. And I get accused of having favoritism now. And I do not date anybody that works at that store. And do I have favorites? You could say that. Maybe. I don't know. But do I favor people who do their jobs? Yes. And by favor, I'm like, my team members who are like constantly going above and beyond. I only have to ask them once to finish things. They do what they're told when needed. They come and support and help out other people when needed. Do I favor them? Yeah. Do they do their jobs though? Yes. Like it easy. However, I can literally you can gaze into the future. Anyways, I can literally see it. Work like I mentioned earlier, you're talking to your significant other, your situationship as a manager and they're team members and they are a team member. You're talking to them for 20, 30 minutes at a time, not doing your job. There's a word, but I don't know if that word is straight to the company that I work for, so I'm actually not going to say it. But you're not doing your job. You're sitting around, or standing around probably, but you're not letting your team members talk for 2-3 minutes to each other, regardless if it's about work or whatever. They're talking for 2 or 3 minutes. You're getting on them about that, but yeah, accusations of favoritism. We don't play that over here. And I used to date men, unfortunately, so especially not for no man. Unfortunately, it's crazy though. I don't know. I just feel like there's way too many risks. And don't forget about my favorite, the top tier one, harassment, retaliation. I love those 2 words, actually. I love using those 2 words at the company that I work for because, boy, do they not play that. And one thing about me, I'm going to say I feel like they're retaliating against me. Oh, hold on. The company I work for, they have a quote unquote no retaliation policy. So if you report something and that about someone else and that someone else retaliates against you, oh, they're going to get written up. They're going to potentially get fired, especially if they're upper management. Oh, baby, it's over for you. But I said quote unquote, also like allegedly. I don't know how true that is because I've never needed to like report someone to the point of like, I've never needed to report someone for something that they did that's like so egregious that they might retaliate against me. No, I've never need to do that, thankfully. However, if I do, we're using that no retaliation policy for real. Saying that actually just made me think about that one plot on Grey's Anatomy that when Leah Murphy reported it. I don't remember if she reported Cali or Arizona. I know she cheated. Well, she didn't cheat because she wasn't with nobody. But Arizona cheated on her. I think she reported Cali though, because she was treating her weird because Arizona cheated with Leah. I don't know. Nonetheless, I hope to God I never have to. Well, I have girlfriends, so I'm never gonna have to do that. But still, you run the risk of harassment claims, and thankfully the company I work at has no retaliation, quote unquote. Never had to use it. If I do though, one thing about me, I'm gonna know the policies of the job that I work at. Mostly because I'm a manager, but also anything could happen. Anything could happen. Okay, free me, because clearly the cut water is getting to me. Beyond like harassment claims, beyond what else did I say? Like conflicts of interest, favoritism. I personally feel like you're working with your partner all day, and of course, like hopefully you're not working in the same department if you're working retail, or hopefully if you're just working plain old customer service, you're not near each other. But like I feel like we aren't gonna have much to talk about. Like, let me tell y'all, my girlfriend is a certified yapper and can't really talk because I have a podcast. Can't really say too much about her, really. However, she be sending me voice messages that be like 15 minutes. Why? Because we don't work, let alone we don't work together, but we do not work in the same field. We literally have countless things to talk about. My manager, she's cool. I have no beef with her for real. However, there's another one who like hates me, and I don't know why. She's always coming after me, and I do not know what I did to that lady. But her manager also kind of wishy-washy. We just be having stuff to talk about, and I feel like we will never need to work in the same field because what the fuck are we gonna talk about? Don't get me wrong, she can talk about anything. Love her now. She can talk about anything though. But I don't know. I feel like people who work at like we're seeing too much of each other. You know what I mean? Like, in the chance that you like live together, knowing damn well the company I work for do not pay enough money to live in Los Angeles for real, by yourself at least. I don't know if with someone who also works there. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe people make it work. But like, this goes for like corporate jobs too. Like corporate jobs that like pay you enough. We live together. We see each other all day at work. We go back home. We do the whole thing over again. I mean, you're going to save money on gas and a car note. You can hop in the carpool lane. But, like, what are the true benefits of that? You're saying your partner, you're not getting any space from them. And, like, you should not need space. Like, you should not be feeling like you need space. But, like, you're going to go hang out with your friends for, like, a couple hours and come home to that same person, go to work with that same person. I don't know. It's just too much me and you. And I love being around my girlfriend. I love hanging out with her, but I also enjoy missing her. You know what I mean? Like, even, like, whenever we do, like, move in with each other, I'm still going to go to work and you're still going to go to work. And I'm still going to go out with my friends, of course, after work, too. And you're going to do the same. And we're so, like, you know, like, we still get a chance to miss each other even though we live with each other. I don't think you're going to have a chance to do that when you live with each other and work together. And don't have no mutual friends. Fuck are we doing? Like, I don't know. I just think that, like, having your boo at work, your boo that you met at work, become your actual boo, not just your work bae. I don't believe in those, especially because I have a girlfriend. But work wife, work husband, I don't believe in that. No, we're not doing that. Blurring the lines, like I said earlier. But I don't know. It's just messy. I think that's a good word. I don't know. It's just, it's, again, too much me and you. I feel like if you're ever, like, having an argument with your partner, like, you can't really, like, you know, you have friends at work that you could vent to. Now you can't because, you know, your friend knows them because that's also their friend because we work together. You know, like I said earlier, get your ones off. You know what I mean by that. Get your little issue off. And that's really all you need to do. You do not need to marry this person. But with that being said, we're going to take a quick break because I feel like I have something else to add to this, to be honest. But we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. I still stand 10 toes on what I said. But side note, are y'all keeping up with the Diddy case? Crazy turn of considering what my podcast is about. But are you guys listening? You know, seeing things on TikTok, because it's a federal case, so there's no, like, reporters in there. There's no cameras. We cannot see it live. Are you guys keeping up on that? I need to know for real. One thing about me, I'm a girl's girl, and I know that a lot of men hate that, and good, because I hate most men. Works out perfectly for me, if we're being honest. One thing about me, I'm always gonna believe what a woman says about a man because 9 times out of 10 it's true. And like that one time, that 10% of times, do I feel bad for that man? Sure, I do. However, we gotta be so realistic. What sane woman? Note sane. What woman who has no diagnosis, nothing? She's mentally stable somewhat, because the girlies do be crazy. But what mentally sane woman is really gonna be like, oh, he SA'd me and be lying? But I know Diddy is not going to see the light of day ever again. I know he's facing life in prison, and dear God, I hope he get it. And people are like upset. Again, I know that this is like, we're like so far off of what my podcast is about and what I was just talking about, but I feel like it kind of ties in. I also was like on TikTok for half a second and I saw something about it and I was like, oh, this lady, her name is like Mona. I lost the TikTok actually. I don't even know her name because I cleared the app. But I know her name is Mona. She's black. She got a bob and it's not an FAB. She's fly as fuck actually. She got a bob. That's what I remember about her the most. But she's been reporting live on this case like every day that it's happening. Do federal cases happen on the weekends? That's an easily like Googleable question, but I'm just like, wow, does that happen on weekends? I don't know. Anyways, that's really not important. Um, bringing her up is because she's like reporting in an unbiased way. And I feel like journalism isn't what it used to be. Like I don't know what case I was alive for that I could remember it actually journalism actually being like decent. Oh, freaking Casey Anthony. I remember her case. Well, like enough for me to say this. I remember journalism being like very unbiased. Like I remember them reporting literal facts and like facial expressions being like they had like really good poker faces. I remember journalism being like that. Like that's what I grew up on. And to see like the Diddy case, like okay, these could not be real reporters and real journalists. These could be like TikTok journalists and reporters. I don't know. God knows that I don't know. But they're like, okay, I wholeheartedly believe that everyone should be on Cassie's side. I know that Diddy did this. I know that Diddy deserves to go to jail. And I want everyone to also know that, right? I believe these things. And I want everyone else to believe those things as well. However, I feel like people reporting about it, because, you know, like I said, it's a federal case. It isn't, there's no cameras in there, so there's just reporters. That's why we have all those, like, pictures of what Cassie and Diddy and so look like. I wish they could be a little bit more unbiased so people could, like, form their own opinions. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that made sense. Because I feel like I can tell that they are, like, rooting for Cassie, so to say. Like, as they should. As they should. However, this is your job. You're being a journalist. You need to just give me facts. I do not want to know your opinion. I should not be able to tell your opinion based on what you're telling me about this case. You know what I mean? Like, you should not be favoring either side. You should be favoring Cassie. You should not be favoring either side for me to be able to be like, oh, you hope this does not go in Diddy's favor, which personally, yeah, I agree with that. However, true journalism is not that. And don't get me wrong, I'm a STEM girly. I never took a journalism class. However, I'm not stupid. Like, I can tell what's good and what's not good. And the ones that we've been seeing have been really bad, except for that Mona lady. But, damn, I would love to be in there. I don't know. Something about high-profile cases, my nosy ass, yeah, I want to know. Like, damn, I wish I was live for OJ's case. The glove does not fit, you must acquit. Because don't get me wrong, I believe that Diddy did that. However, I am an OJ apologist. You cannot convince me that OJ did it. You know, I just really wish I'm like, damn, maybe I should have went into journalism. No, that's not my tea. That's not for me. My bad, y'all. My sister started screaming for God knows what reason. Anyways, I just wanted to say that because the Diddy trial is, you know, on right now. So, yeah. Also, it's so funny because people, well, it's not funny, haha. Like, it's not funny, haha. But people are like, why would they start with Cassie? Why would they start with Cassie? Bro, you never put your heaviest hitter on trial. You're never going to start with your heavy hitter. That's all I'm going to say. You're never going to start with your heaviest hitter. He had to have done. He had to have done someone else even worse. Okay? And I hate that for that girl. For whoever that is. That poor girl. But I think it might get a little worse. So I'm very interested to see what goes on. But it just, this, like, what I'm talking about, like, possible like harassment claims, like if you're dating someone in your workplace, that just kind of reminded me of this, because I'm like, wow, Diddy's never seen the sun again. He's never seen the outside again. And God, I really hope that his kids never speak to him again. And I know that's a bit extreme. I never cared, though. Like, I actually do hate men, yeah. Not all men, sure. Whatever you say, whatever you want to claim. Anyways, back to what I was talking about, back to what my podcast is truly about, because it's certainly not that. Not that man, or by any means any man. Um, but yeah, fuck Diddy for life. I try to be, like I was saying, journalists are not unbiased anymore. No, I don't. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie, because I was gonna be like, I typically try to not be biased in my little podcast, but that's not the truth. Last episode, I did give pros and cons of working like with each generation. Don't necessarily remember exactly what I said, but I did give pros and cons. There there are some pros that exist. I don't know if I could say there are pros to working with your lover. Because, okay, saying that, because before I got promoted, this was like maybe like February of 2024, and I got promoted in like July and left that store in August. So yeah, like I had my interview in July, and then the next day I got my offer. So yeah, I was like promoted in July. So, in February, my manager was having a meeting with her manager and with HR, and they were all like, oh, Kayla's so ready to be promoted. She's ready. Like, she's good, da-da-da, whatever. Her manager was like, okay, I know that, but I cannot promote her here, being the store that I worked at, if she's still dating the person I was dating. And I didn't want to be promoted at that store anyways. Like, I actually hated that store so bad. No, I wanted to get all the way up on the ladder and jump. Like, I hated that store so bad. I have such bad, awful memories. The only good one I have is meeting my best friend. So thanks for that. Big ups for real. Like, I don't even ever want to say like, oh, I regret working there, because I don't. Like, it taught me so many life lessons. And again, I met my best friend. But the thought of like being promoted there and like starting my real career, oh my God. Oh, I have to bleep that out. Jesus. I be doing so well not mentioning where I work, and boom, it just flows so good off the tongue because I work there. Anyways, like I was saying, let me remember to bleep that out. This is why I listen to all of them before I like do my final cuts and edits and post it, because oh my God. And I'm not re-recording because I've been talking for 15 damn minutes. Anyways, before I started my like actual like retail career, that was so crazy. Before I started my actual retail career, like I would not want to start it there, basically. And her manager told my manager that, and my manager was like, we don't have to worry about that, because we had broken up by then. By February, we were no longer together. But it just sucks, because it's like, wow, I'm dating this person and I cannot be promoted at this store because I'm dating this person. So again, like, there are just too many cons and not enough pros to be dating someone that you work with. I don't care what anyone says. They like, what's a good word to use? They can taint people's perceptions of you, of professionalism for you. I think I said that correctly. But like, people's perception of professionalism for you will be tainted. Like, could be, not will be. I don't want to say that. Could be tainted. Yeah, like, it's just not worth it. And I'm like thinking very hard on giving like a unbiased opinion, like pros and cons of working with your boo, your lover. Like, you get to see them all day, but like, at what cost? Because now I don't have nothing to talk to you about at home. Now I'm like sick of seeing your ass all day, every day, 7 days a week. Like, bro, we cannot get a break. And I like I said, you can, go hang out with your friends. They hang out with their friends. Like, yes, but that's only 2-3 hours. I'm seeing just you for majority of my day, and that's a lot for anybody. Like, I don't know. I just don't think you should be seeing one person all day, every day. Like, no. And if you guys work in different departments, you work different hours, like, that's totally different. That's not what I'm talking about. But still is. I still don't think you should be like dating them. I don't know. Just get your ones off. Damn, it's not that hard. Just fuck them and dip. Like, why can't we just do that? But with that being said, and I have to remember to bleep that out because that was so crazy. I'm so glad I realized as I was talking. That was crazy. But I'm going to read a story. The one story I got. Please send them in, listeners. I'm actually begging you guys. I'm going to read a story. Or I think this week I'm going to read their story next week. This week I'm going to give you guys a story that I have. Cuz granted it's only been 5 years, but it's felt like 50. And I'm only 24. It's felt like 50 of retail. But while I get my thoughts together and remember to bleep that out, we'll be right back. Okay, now that I have calmed down from the realization that I said what I said and have to now bleep it out, wanted to give you guys a not very quick story time because I feel like all of my story times are great and hilarious, and they're funny now that I don't work at that store and things like that don't happen to me quite often, but they were not funny then. So few episodes ago, I mentioned that someone took a shower in the fitting room, right? Now, someone took a shower in the fitting room, and then the next day I worked a 12-and-a-half-hour shift. Crazy work, right? Okay, let's start from the beginning. One crazy day in February of 2023. It was a Thursday. I was working the registers because that's what I did, usually. I was working the registers. This lady came in her, like, business casual fit. She bought like 8 or 10 gallons of water. Not anything out of the ordinary. People buy several gallons of water every day. Like, I don't think that's weird. Especially if you have kids, you have a family, you know. Yeah, you do you. So she buys her water. She bought like laundry detergent and I think body wash too. Like nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing that I thought like, this is kind of sus. What are you doing, girl? And like I said, she was dressed in business casual. She looked like she had just gotten off work. It was about 7, 8 p.m. Actually, it was like probably like 6. Whatever the time it was. So yeah, checked her out, sold it to her, whatever. Like, was like, have a great rest of your day. Cool, whatever. Fast forward about 30, 40 minutes later, the girl who worked near the fitting room, or like in that department, came up to the registers because the closing manager was there and said, hey, someone's taking a shower in the fitting room. Oh, what are you talking about right now? And her first language is Spanish, and she sometimes will say like half her sentence in English and half in Spanish. And usually I can pick up, especially now. But like I could pick up for the most part then, and I was like, she did not just say that. What are you talking about? She said it again, and I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? She was like, someone took a shower in there, and I'm like, how? What are you saying to me? And they're like, well, whoever bought like a bunch of bottles of water and laundry detergent was just in there taking a shower. Oh, bitch, you've got to be kidding me. Someone else had to have bought that. Like, that had to have been a transient. That had to have been an unhoused individual. I don't believe that. So there were other people working at the registers. The closing manager went over there and was like, she was like, come with me. And I was like, okay, cool. Walked over there. There was a butt print of soap on the fitting room, like bench that's in the room. And then the room was actually soaked in water. And then there was empty laundry detergent, and then because laundry detergent wasn't that big, it was a really small one, and then there was dirty clothes in there. You're probably picking up what I put down. She did in fact take a shower in there, or she washed her clothes. I don't know what the hell was happening. Like, I don't know why she did that, especially considering we have bathrooms. I would have rather you did that in the bathroom. At least has a drain in there. It's not carpeted. Are you kidding me right now? She like came back to the front. And she thought the issue was that we thought she didn't pay for it. And we're like, girl, fuck that. I would rather you have just stolen this. Her total equaled less than like $20. She bought like $7 laundry detergent. The gallons of water are like what, $1? If you buy store brand, it's like $1. $10 right there, 17. Like, the soap she bought was cheap. It was like the Suave or Swab, I don't know how to say that word. But it like, and I'm not docking her for buying something that's inexpensive. It just was not expensive. It was $20. And the closing manager's like, the problem isn't that you didn't buy it or that we think you didn't buy it. You can't take a shower in here. And she's like, I bought all the stuff though. Girl, please say sick right now. So that was an interesting day, right? Cool, whatever. We get it cleaned up, going about our night. I clock out, go back to work the next day at 2:30 p.m. I get pulled to work in like the medicine, like the essentials area. Cool, like fine. I actually would prefer to be over there. I was not having a good day. I was probably something with school. I don't really remember, but I was not having the best day ever. So I was like, yeah, like I get to be in my own world. I'm probably gonna pop an AirPod in because you guys are gonna come check on me because I know what I'm doing. Keeping my AirPod in. I never cared. So I was doing my thing, opening up boxes, you know, whoop wop wham, you know, working. I heard a guest. I heard them. They were shopping. They were doing their thing with their girlfriend. And I heard him say, hey, bro, what the fuck? So I instantly turned because I saw he was with the woman. And I was like, oh, I'm going to call security on you. Because why are you talking to her like that? You know, that's how my brain was working. I'm thinking literally nothing crazy is going on, but you're being insane with whoever this lady is. I'm going to call security. Like, you're not going to be yelling at her, let alone in front of me. We're not going to do that. So I turned my head because I'm like, what are we talking about right now? Also because I'm nosy. So I turn my head. I see this man in a wheelchair. I see the man who said, hey, bro, what the fuck? I see him looking at this man in a wheelchair. And he's like backing up. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? I like didn't want to like get too close because like, you know, that's not my business. Also because people are unpredictable. So I just kind of stay by my cart. And I put like the box that I had down, and I'm just kind of like acting like I'm taking stuff out of another box. The box is fully empty. I'm just kind of like acting, but I'm looking over, and there's a man in a wheelchair who only has one leg with a knife. Hey, bro, what the fuck is that? I'm like, oh. Okay. So I was like, this is just not adding up. What's going on here? So I call security and the closing manager. I like walked over, my best friend was working in like the cosmetic area. So I walk over there and I was like, hey, I called security and I called the closing manager and I was like, hey, this man in a wheelchair has a knife and he's like brandishing it at people. What do you guys want to come do about it? Because this is not my business. Absolutely. I was just an employee. I walked to my best friend and I tell him and he's like, no, you're lying. And I was like, Bible? I don't know how I can make that up. Hand to God, I do not know how I would make that up. How I'm just pulling stuff out the air. He goes to see, he sees the same thing. So we call security. Security's like essentially like trying to escort him out. He doesn't want to leave. I don't know what happened, but he grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall, turned it on down all the aisles. Well, not all, but like a lot, like I think 20 aisles. Well, thanks for that. He tried to turn it on security. I don't know how he missed three. It was like 3 people. I don't know how he missed and decided to, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna just do all the aisles. I don't know why he did that. I have no answers, but he did. The store manager and the closing manager are reconvening in the back. They're having meetings. They're telling district like, hey, like this just happened. What the hell do I do? What's going on? What should I do? Whatever. She pulls all the employees from the sales floor that night, except for the ones cashiering. She pulls us all into the back and she's like, how many of you would like OT? Well, I would. Why? And I was like, what, like for what? And she says, we have to take every singular item off the shelves, throw it, like put it in bags, scan it all, and throw it away. I really don't want to do that, but like I do want overtime. So like, yeah, I will stay. So I was like, okay, yeah. So like I said, I worked 2:30 to 3 a.m. that day because someone decided, I don't really, like I can't even think why he would think that that would be the solution. And the knife that I saw wasn't like, here's the thing, I don't ever want to get stabbed. I don't want to get stabbed by nothing. I don't want to get stabbed by a damn pencil. However, the knife wouldn't have done damage for real. I mean, unless he's stabbing you in the thigh and could hit your femoral artery. Like, you know, like stuff could happen. However, one, I wasn't too scared of him. Because one, he was brandishing it around. So I saw him with it. However, I did not want him in my store because leave us alone. Like, no matter who you're after, which demons in his head is who he was after. No matter who you're after, why are you bothering employees on their job? You don't have nothing else to do? Go bother people outside. And I'm not saying that's a good idea either, but like, leave us alone. I don't know, the store I used to work at had some stories. I literally remember telling my family, like, hey, y'all, I'm not gonna be home till like 3 in the morning. And they're like, the fuck are you doing over there? Yeah, I'm working 12 and a half hours. That was such a fun day. That was such a fun day. They get paid overtime. Only got overtime a handful of times. From that store. I work overtime all the time now at this one, like, especially during like the holidays. Like, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, shower in the fitting room, and then the very next day somebody, I don't know what it's called, like releasing, I guess, the fire extinguisher out on all the aisles. And because it posed a safety risk to all of our customers and guests and stuff like that, we had to take everything off the shelves. Mind you, everything included things like laundry detergent. You guys know how heavy one singular thing of laundry detergent is? Imagine a bag full. Everything off the shelves included baby formula. Do you know how heavy cans of baby formula can be? We had to throw out Apple products. Like, he went down so many aisles, it was fucking ridiculous. The next day and the day after, because we obviously had to like replenish our inventory, we had to call people from other stores. I don't know if we call people from the store I'm at right now, but we had to call people from other stores is all I know. And people were like, damn, bro. Wait. Why did you guys do that? Literally, when I tell people, well, when I first started working at the store I'm at now, they ask like, oh, what store did you used to work at? And I tell them, they'd be like, oh, the ghetto one. Please, guys. Please. So yeah, that was that. I hope you guys enjoyed my insane story time because I got plenty where that came from. But that wraps up and includes another amazing episode of The Shift Show. You heard me give my true and honest opinions about Sean Combs and heard me freak out about how I have to bleep something out. So that was fun. Follow the podcast Instagram at The Shift Show Pod on Instagram. And if you would like to hear your story read, you can email it at theshiftshowpod@gmail.com. You can also follow my private Instagram because I'm pretty fun. I'm pretty lit. Simply.Kayla with 2 S's and 2 Y's in Simply. Yeah, that pretty much wraps us up. Sneak preview. Don't know how to phrase that. To an episode, I think coming out in about 3-4 weeks. I know the date. It's like June 10th. I don't know how many weeks that is from right now, though. But I will be having a guest. Oops, just hit the microphone. I will be having a guest on the pod, and I will be recording the pod by then. I promise. I'm working on it. I promise. Auntie, however, be in her bonnet when she's recording, so I gotta actually do my hair now. That's really the only thing. But hope you all have an amazing day, an amazing afternoon, an amazing week. And I will see you next week. Bye.